Hi, I'm Tyler. If you're new to this channel, you might be familiar with me from my verbose orc tactic videos or multi-decade neuroses, which has birthed an extensive familiarity with esoteric aspects of Warhammer. You might not know that I'm also a degenerate. Today, we're going to be trying some highly experimental painting techniques using substances not legally available in most countries or states. For all legal purposes, these are the mushrooms I will be eating. This blurred bag that is already mostly eaten is a prop that I bought from a police officer. I've been putting off painting this army for a long time and commuting with them directly through Psychic Link felt like a good way to finally decide on a color scheme. My intention is to develop a otherworldly bond with God as the moderator of our connection, or Satan. I'm not sure, it doesn't really matter. To converse with the bad moon, you must speak its tongue. I wish I could have mood lighting like this while I'm painting. I feel like I don't want to leave this room. I'm not high yet. I just really like how it looks. Who wants to paint some little fellas? You want to see them? Here's the gang. They're all primed. Yeah, they've been like this for a while. I like re-primed some of them earlier today. Like the metal ones, I'm always worried about chipping. Big paranoia about chipping in general because I play with models a lot. That means that you get your filthy oil hands on them and that rubs paint off over time. And we really don't want that. I don't know how much I'll play Sigmar. I mostly just like Night Goblins a lot. Yeah, we're gonna get in touch with something today. My plan is to rely on Xenofall priming a lot. I don't know, like this is a lot of models to paint, obviously. I don't know how I'm actually gonna do, but I brought all my Squigs out just in case. I think we're gonna rely on white Xenofall using a paint I've literally never used before. I just bought this earlier today. This is a Mr. Color paint. It is not water-based, so you need this leveling thinner to go with it. It's very stinky, so we're gonna try and get that out of the way first before anything really kicks in. It feels like a annoying step, frankly. I bet it'll like look really cool, but this paint is a lot more cumbersome than just like using acrylic. Acrylic is also something I'm like super used to. This is not. I have this guy too, which helps. Just an air purifier. And then I'm gonna open that door and have the fan running as well. So we're gonna do the best with what we have. Yeah, pray to not get cancer as always. The lore in this book is actually really good. I don't know if you guys have read the most recent Glimpse White Gets Battle Tome, whatever codexes are called. But yeah, it's sick. This is like what largely got me excited about this army. I was on the fence about playing Sigmar for a long time. I mean, yeah, a lot of the new art's sick too. Yeah, good lore. I feel like it's like well written, just like command of the English language is definitely there, which is some sort of bar for sure. And a lot of modern fantasy and sci-fi like big press publications in general for games. But yeah, if you worked on this book, great work. I really love the lore in here. Games Workshop doesn't love to credit anyone involved in their projects anymore, so I don't think is there a single name mentioned in this book? Yeah, whoever wrote this, good work. It's like very fun backstory. Like these, it feels like these are new. Like these aren't holdovers from fantasy. Can I show this book on? I'm assuming I can show this book in recordings. I don't know. I'm worried about the legality of showing a year-and-a-half old battle tome. I'm doing a mushroom speed painting video. We're gonna be referencing this a lot, both visually and just like for inspiration in general. Very emotionally powerful. One thing I haven't really decided on is skin. I like this one a lot. I think, yeah, maybe actually we'll just go for that. That's like pretty sick looking. Yeah, looks good. All right, cool. When you're experimenting with something, you're not supposed to like introduce two new variables at once because you can't tell the effects of one or the other. I would not recommend painting in this state of mind with a paint you've never used before, but it'll be fun maybe. Or my airbrush will clog and I'll be sad and sculpt a troll or something instead. I'm just gonna mix these two until I get something that feels right. I'm gonna steer on the side of caution and thin it down quite a bit, just in case. So I'd rather have this be too thin than too goopy and thick. Seems to flow out in the paper fine. Oh, it's got some music. This guy's an awesome first test model, but we gotta get his face. Sorry, there's a lot of sound happening. I don't even hear my mic. I don't know the artist of these. I'll find the STL online and put it in the description, but I really like these third-party Squigs. Using about like 18 PSI right now. What I believe to be a pretty thin coat of this, but I don't really know what normal is. Might increase the PSI a little bit. That's looking pretty good though. I really like how that white feels. If you're for some reason using this as a guide for how to paint your own Squigs, like I'll do an actual Games Workshop one. So the plan is to do this white, and then after that, paint some like inks underneath. But we're gonna rely on this white to do a lot of our color. I don't even know if that's like visible. Yeah, so that's just the Xenopal. That already looks like pretty good. I want my Squigs to be pale. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a bunch of them and come back in a sec. This is what we would call a, certainly more than a microdose of Bad Moon, but I'm not trying to ego death here. I don't want to actually meet God. I just want to have him like help guide me to paint these Squigs a little bit better. Or worse, actually. Probably definitely worse, but it'll get done. And it's a fun video. You guys like that, right? Oh fuck, that's not what we want. So yeah, literally all I'm doing now is just like applying a Xenopal, like an actual Xenopal. Before I was trying to get some of the details of the white and like rotating them a little bit too. But I think it looks better actually if there's like more black coming through. Yeah, we're just doing an actual like proper Xenopal. It's super simple. I really like how this paint looks. Shout out to Brian from Tabletop Titans. He's the guy who told me about, he didn't use this specific brand. I think he uses a Tamiya. But to my understanding, chemically, they're like basically the same thing. And this is just like Mr. Hobby's equivalent of the paint he used. So the reason I'm doing a true Xenopal for these, or mostly a true Xenopal at least, is not because I want to see like what a Xenopal highlight looks like as a guide for painting. The reason why is because like that's actually pretty close to the angle you're going to be looking at their cast shadows from a tabletop. Because like you're usually like 5 feet above them, right, or so. Maybe a little less than that, depending on how high your wargaming table is. But yeah, you're looking like directly down on them. So like, I think this is a good example of like about the distance that you'd look at these guys from a tabletop, right? And then like, I feel like that's pretty close. Doing the Xenopal and like rotating slightly, but mostly just doing a normal Xenopal of where like their shadows are gonna end up. So like, just literally, oh fuck. Okay, no, that's too much force. Sorry, buddy, I got you. So literally just like spraying this guy like this. That's the angle you're going to be seeing him from a tabletop perspective. And like, I'm not trying to win a golden demon here, right? These are like models that are for gaming, and I want them to be looked at from like this distance and this height. And the only reason I'll rotate is like for these mushrooms down here, like I'll rotate them a little bit. And like for the teeth, I've been rotating a bit too, and to capture like more of the face. But for the most part, like top down is a good match for like player perspective while gaming. Having done a bunch of these now, I feel like what's working is to like find an angle, stick to it, and then just like, oh, that was a horrible first spray. Yeah, try not to get speckles everywhere, but outside of that, like just find your angle, stick to it, and keep like rapid fire shooting. This is partially because I feel like the airbrush is prone to get a little more like clogged than it normally is with these paints. Maybe I'm just doing a bad ratio, but I'll see when I feel like I'm moving around, the shadows don't become as intense. And then the more I keep the airbrush in one place and then just turn it on and off, I feel like the better the shadows are. Here's a guy who turned out better than the sample one. Like I really like how the shadows turned out on him. And this was me like deliberately trying to do this for the first time. I had like kind of accidentally ended up doing it on a few of them before, but yeah, I'm gonna stick to that for the rest of them. You know, I'll stop talking so we can focus on painting them for real and do a good job. Okay, we're gonna try this guy. Here's another fun metaphor that might not make sense. So like, imagine each time you start spraying with the airbrush and then like do the thing I was just talking about with the rapid fire trigger. That is a light source. And then as many lights as you want on the model is as many times as you're gonna rotate. So like I want one, if you know like 3-point lighting, this would be like your fill light, I guess. So like just straight above like this. And unlike 3-point lighting, like you normally have like lights with like slightly different colors, right? But like keeping my airbrush in the same place and then just like going like this with the trigger, this rapid fire motion. That's gonna be my first light. And then like I want a like bounce light here. And I'm gonna apply less white now than I did previously. So just like a few. And then I think he's looking like pretty good from there. Like the shadows are still extreme, but we're gonna go over those with inks, so that's okay. And yeah, I just like the way the cast shadows like naturally look like that. Here, I'll do like a little bit more on his face, just to make it like a little more even right there. But yeah, sticking to I think like 2 spots of the airbrush, like here and here. And then just like doing the rapid fire trigger thing is working pretty well for these. So my airbrush is in the ultrasonic cleaner right now. This paint's pretty gunky and gross. I want to do the opposite kind of paint of the paint we just pushed through, which is inks next. So I want to make sure it's super clean. In the meantime, I'm taking some bold titanium white by Monument Hobbies. Probably my favorite white next to this one. It feels bad not calling him my favorite white. I don't know, I love both of you equally. You're both incredible whites. And I'm very thankful to have both of you in my painting arsenal. Thank you, Mr. Color. I like that you're personified by the Mr. Hobby brand. I like that everything's named. It's like your new friend that you buy from the store. This is a thought I've had while not on mushrooms too. I like that they personify their paints. Pull up really, really strong paints. For models that I want to be a little extra special, or for some of the ones that like I just messed up, the Xasthur too. I'm taking this drive brush from Under the Dice Fest, an event I did not go to. Shout out to Hive Scum. And then yeah, I'm just like dry brushing to add details. Like this whole thing is just kind of it's got a lot of parallels to like, you know, like the slap chop kind of painting, which is just like doing a Xasthur, dry brushing, and then applying contrast. Or doing just like a slightly fancier version of that that takes a little bit longer. Actually, I don't know if it does, never mind. It might take less time and might look a little better. But yeah, really, really great method for getting painting done typically. Just adding little bitty baby dry brushes. One thing that often happens in this process is you're like, damn, I'm not doing anything. This is making no difference at all. And then you push slightly harder and suddenly it's ruined forever and you wish you could start over. Watch out for that. I typically only dry brush like one direction. I don't know if that matters or not, but like I typically just go like that instead of like back and forth. I like, you know, like wipe down motion, pull away, wipe down motion, pull away. Instead of up, down, up, down. I feel like it makes a little difference. That might be in my head. I don't know. You try them at home. You tell me if I'm crazy. Yeah, like these teeth have some details that this dry brushing is pulling out. But titanium white is also, I think, brighter than the Mr. Color, which is already incredibly bright, but it's like the brightest white I've ever used. It might increase our ability to commune with the moon soon, too. I can definitely feel it, but I feel like for the purposes of the novelty of this video, we should escalate it just so slightly. But we'll get our airbrush cleaned, and then I will see how we feel. It's been like roughly an hour since we started, so it's definitely doing something, but we haven't. The moon has not reached its zenithal yet. Making models is great, but it's no trail mix. Oh my god. You want to see me eat a cranberry off the floor? What's your emotional equivalent of dried cranberry and no said red blend? Anyone with a dedicated Warhammer group, you gotta remember to just go to the bar with them sometimes. It doesn't have to be all min-maxing. That's your homework today, is go to the bar. Unless you're recovering and sober, in which case, go on a hike. Go on a hike with your gaming group. It'll probably be fun. Or you'll just discover that you have nothing in common outside of this game, and it'll feel really bad. Sorry in advance if that happens. Maybe, this feels like a good time to show this. I posted this on Twitter a while ago, but if you haven't seen it, this is my weed grinder. I had to Photoshop all of the Gavapalooza faces that fit within the circumference of a circle, and then send it to a man on Etsy to have this made. Felt relevant to showcase for this video. Anyways, want to see how that airbrush is doing? All right, so here's our horde. Here's where they're at. We've applied zenithal on everybody. It took, yeah, like an hour and some change, and then like a while to clean up the airbrush too. I'm really happy with how the shadows turned out. I always love this step. I love it especially using this new paint. It looks even better than it normally does. And now we get to do the next step, which is the scary step of try not to fuck it up. So I'm gonna use this night purple ink. We'll just see how that goes. We've also decided to mix up the musical to something more whimsical. It's a very important step. This is the RuneScape soundtrack. I think this is just the main RuneScape theme song. I actually never really played that much RuneScape. I just like the music a lot. Here we go. Ooh, night purple's looking pretty good. I don't hate that. I think I want to leave a little bit. I think this needs a mid-tone. I might use some Magos purple, which is just like a contrast paint to like blend between these two. That would have been actually probably the better step to do here if I didn't fill this whole thing up with night purple because I was excited about using the new paint. But yeah, I won't go that crazy with this because I want to leave a little bit of room for the Magos purple. Hi, I'm turning the camera back on just to tell you that this song you might not even be able to hear. I feel like it was made for this guy specifically. I feel like he's really driving with the song right now. This is the kind of emotional connection we're after. This is, man. And then here's his friend, or just a bigger version of him. These are two of my favorite guys in the whole thing. All the modern GW sculpts are sick, but there's an unabashed doofus-like trait that these both share that makes them immensely powerful and special to me. They're just like, you know, this is what it's all about. This is what the game's really all about. The ink feels awesome too. I'm like really digging the ink. Night purple is a good choice to pick up. So just to talk about what's happening here a little bit more, basically what I'm doing is like a reverse zenithal. So before we did the light source, right? And now we're doing the airbrush to cast the shadows. So this guy has a big butt and jaw. Actually small butt, big jaw. I feel like jaws are the butts of Squigs. So he'll be a good example for us. If I literally just turn the model upside down and preferably in focus, I'm just spraying the purple into all the like shadow areas. I want this to cover anywhere but it's like black primer on the bottom basically. To make the gradient more clear for when we apply like our brighter purples or maybe a red, I haven't decided yet. Whatever the next like mid-tone we apply is. I'm putting some on the feet too, because putting it just in the shadows I feel like might actually get covered up down the line once we add more detail to this model. But yeah, by having on the feet it's like always visible and I just think it looks cool on all of them as like a unified force. That's the other thing I keep debating is like if I want to mix up colors at some point during this too. I like it when like Squigs have color variety. I'm kind of just doing this all the same for now because I'm so happy with how they look, but we might change that. It's currently almost midnight too. It's 11:52. This one's favorite band is definitely Electric Lizard. Alright, so next up we're taking this pure magenta ink and a little bit of water. And I'm mostly just putting it over their lips, which makes them all kind of feel like the Joker right now. But hopefully we don't hate that in half an hour. Right now I feel like it could go somewhere good, but I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to paint more of them. Here's a reference shot for how they do look purple, in case we decide we hate the magenta later. We at least get to see all of them now. Here, I'll do a better angle. The moon is with us tonight. Can you feel it, my children? My sons and daughters of the moon. I'm just like you. You're just like me. Let me immerse myself in your culture. If I'm not talking that much, it's because I'm mostly trying to communicate with them on a level they can understand, which is only through thought. I don't think Squigs would respond well to language. You, son of darkness, in human tongue, you shall be known as Boingo. Walk with darkness now, my child. Return to your flock. Your name will be Trumpeter Dan. This is the point of mushrooms. I feel like I'm a cult leader for Squigs. If you're planning a trip to Joshua Tree, cancel that and do this instead. Your name is... You are... That's you? Okay, be a good boy. Go back, hang out with your friends now. I love you. Your name is Marlboro Gas Station. You are the unloved deceiver. Okay, good boy. I love you too. Your name can be Unknowable Conflict. Your name can be The Urge to Destroy. It's a very good name. It's a very important force to know within man and yourself, because we've all got it, you know, from time to time. That's why we play war games. As Isaac Asimov said in The Forward to Little Wars by H.G. Wells, it's a good way to conquer the eternal thirst for war and carnage and violence and destruction and aggression that lies in the heart of every man. Using man as a gender-neutral term here. Ladies, benign binary people in the audience, you've darkness and an urge for conquest and war in you as well. Just, we all manifest it differently, right? As my therapist would put it, it's a good way to cope with anger. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging the inherent darkness within. To deny it gives it more power than to stare at it in the eye, you know? It just kind of amounts to spinning like this fucking guy instead of whatever other ways the urge for mischief and destruction could manifest instead. Now we have him. He's a totem. He's just as powerful as whatever's in Mecca that was smashed. I don't really remember. I don't know that much about the Bible or the Quran, but yeah, the little totems inside of Mecca, you're just as powerful as all the pre-Christian deities that the pagans worshipped. And I know that in my heart. I know you do too. That's why your name is Messiah, and I'm going to return you to the flock now. Be well, my child. You can be Frostworm or Graveheart, either that or Mac Daddy. I guess I have to give all the goblins names too. You can be Trough Biscuit. That's you. I know that. Goblin names are easier. Squig names are hard. Because I feel like the Squigs don't have language, so like it's hard to find something that fits right for their personality, you know? I'm feeling the pink, I think. The pink ain't bad. I don't hate how that looks so far. We'll see. I feel like the next color is the tricky one. I was feeling pretty good about doing a bright purple, but I don't know. These ones are too powerful to be named. I don't know what their names are, but I know that is beyond my right. They definitely have names, and I think they're too strong for me to know. Naming them feels like naming a dog I just adopted. Like I just met you and you've had a name your whole life. It doesn't feel fair. You're a cosmic entity known to many by different names, and I don't know what that is to me yet, but I know it'll come when I'm ready. When you're ready, actually. But yeah, you're a force of nature I cannot control. So I'll just add this magenta to your lips, and then you can go hang back out. God, the power though. The honor is mine. Squigs are playful, but I know a part of them still wants to inspire fear. Even this one, even a little part of this guy wants to instill fear and violence. Maybe not him, actually. Maybe a very, very small part of him. I think he's just kind of a goofy, he's just kind of a friend. He'd like pull your pants down. He'd like get you into trouble, but he wouldn't, I don't think he would like really kill someone if he knew what that was. This one definitely knows what death is and wants to bring as much of it as is within his physical limitation. And I respect you and your power. I promise to commandeer you to the best of my ability. We will wage war together. I promise you that. I have been entrusted as your shepherd, and I'll let your darkness guide my hand. Amen. This one requested to listen to the Dropkick Murphys, unfortunately. I was still 14 when I lived in Massachusetts. This will always be some sort of part of me. I have no idea what this song is about, and neither does anybody else. I forgot how insane the lyrics to the song are. I feel like in an hour or so, I might no longer be able to paint. But while we still can, let's talk about color schemes. So this part of the book is super cool. There's a shroom, very relevant to this video, but cool in any context. There's a shroom collection roster here. We got fan favorites such as the straggleneck fungi, the stink cranny fungi. It's a very popular strand these days amongst the children. And gray splatter whoppers. Don't know what that is. And I feel like these are great color reference. Like the death cap mushrooms have a little bit of blue in them towards the bottom. The loon cap, I feel like are a good point of reference too. I might try and make them look like that. I think I like just started emulating these without even realizing it, which is insanely funny. And I'll try not to get to my head too much because I'm on mushrooms and don't want to read into it in the way a paranoid schizophrenic would. But yeah, very funny that we just like coincidentally chose the color scheme of the mushrooms in this book. We're like, we got elements of all of these going on, right? Because it's just like white, purple, and pink. But I think the stink cranny and the death cap are good places to look. I'm gonna try incorporating those a little bit more now. And we're gonna use this High Lord blue from Army Painter. The camera battery's been dying, so I stopped recording for a while, but also, yeah, the balloon caps have taken hold, ladies and gentlemen. We just entered a trance-like state, and now they look like this. The Mushroom of Darkness direction is really working out. I feel like, yeah, that photo from earlier, inside of the Battle Tome, I think is gonna be the blueprint for the rest of what we do here. I just want them to feel like purple, blue, scary mushrooms. I might throw in some green. I'm kind of scared this will just like fuck it all up though, especially since it's like 1 a.m. and we're probably gonna peak at some point within the next half hour. I don't know exactly when. Ooh, maybe this is closer. Orc Flesh. Orc Flesh feels like a sign or an omen of a color to follow. Creed is too desaturated. I feel like the Orc Flesh is like speaking to me. But this one is like, this one's dangerous. This one's exciting. This green is bold. Nature green? Yeah, maybe nature green actually. I feel like we want to be bold tonight. These squigs are trying to make a statement. How do I do this without destroying my paint job? I feel like as long as there's a little blue in there, it'll be okay. Because what we actually want is to strive for like a turquoise sort of. Like this one in the top left, I think is what we're after here. But I don't happen to have, I just like don't own that color. Yeah, no, we want to keep painting. So I'm gonna try mixing the nature green and a contrast paint. I don't even know if chemically those are supposed to go together, but we'll try it. Something super interesting I'm noticing here is the inks look best when they don't go over white. Now that I'm like layering and blending them. Like for instance on these guys, in the front here. Normally I would have like, if I'm layering color, the next color like bleed over the white a little bit. Deliberately, I would like aim for the white, but I feel like for these, I'm actually better off aiming for like the blue spots. That creates like the most interesting gradient of just like, you want to build more, you want to like aim for like exactly where the line is rather than just over. Like you want more color bleed on these, otherwise it looks kind of weird to have the green go just over the white. And I feel the same way for the blue going over the purple. Like here, we'll do this guy. I don't want to show you a bad example because I don't want to fuck it up again. But like some of the ones I did earlier, the green like overspills too much. And here, I'm just gonna aim for like right where this line is, maybe even a little bit further down. So I want to cover more blue, but I want to cover like up here. Like that, I feel like is perfect. It's like super subtle. Just adds like a weird, like kind of ethereal turquoise color to him. Personally, I went for like up here would look wrong. Yeah, definitely not used to doing that. Man, I'm loving these guys. I don't know, I hope I still feel this way tomorrow. I think I will. I'm really enjoying painting them. Am I gonna play fucking Age of Sigmar, dude? Like, I need another war game in my life. I think we are. I think I can paint this army and then like not play a little bit at least. I think I should sculpt some Squigs. I think that'll feel like a little more productive too. Maybe I'll make a song about Squigs. I think emotionally that would make me feel the best, but I feel like the songs are, I appreciate that people stay for the songs, but I feel like the songs are not what helps grow the channel too. And but yeah, full transparency, we are trying to grow and monetize right now because I don't want to work in fucking motion graphics forever. Being laid off is a great opportunity to do mushrooms and paint Squigs. I'm enjoying this era. It's like, it just feels the same as like when you graduate college and like kind of don't know what you're doing and live with your parents and are just like fucking around. Sometimes I feel like that's kind of all I've done since I graduated college. Not actually, I just feel like even working, like doing like freelance stuff and like starting and stopping definitely feels that way on some level. Anyways, that's an overshare. Let's go back to Squig painting now. Well, let's get a close-up of these guys. Yeah. Has my camera been overexposed this whole time? Damn. Alright, battery's dying again. I gotta go charge it. Goodbye. Okay, I feel like the doom and darkness part of the trip is leaving. But we're less fixated on war now and more fixated on color. They're just mischievous little guys. They're broken in their own way, just like us, and that's what makes them beautiful. We all have flaws. We've all made one or two really bad decisions that haunt us at night, right? Like who hasn't been there? And we work through that in therapy or on our own, or we bottle it up. Or we paint little Squigs, or ideally some hybrid of all of those. Even bottling, I think, is healthy sometimes, because that's what helps you survive in the moment. You just gotta learn to unpack it later. You can't keep those feelings bottled forever, though. Eventually, you're gonna have to tell your Squigs how much you love them. Just colorful, beautiful, imperfect little creatures. No different than us. Hello, friend. It's time for your green. Some of these don't even have blue on them. I don't know how I missed that completely. I thought for sure I got all of them, but I guess not. It's kind of, I like that they're becoming a little asymmetrical. Some have a lot of green, some have none, some have a lot of blue, some are just purple still. This guy, I feel like he is the one I've been like the most precious about. I feel like it's working out. Like this guy in particular on the bottom. I feel like I just practice the techniques on all the other Squigs, and then once I feel like I'm like really happy with how I'm doing, I bring it back and apply it to him. So yeah, like this transition here, I'm like pretty happy with. This guy, I gotta add some more blue on his forehead wrinkles, I think. Maybe a little more purple. I think purple's the next color. Okay, it's 2:22 a.m., so I think it's time to call it a day. The peak came and went, and I kind of just got lost in the zone. My battery also died for a while, so there's a bunch of it that's not documented, but given the circumstances under which this army was painted, I'm actually really happy with them so far. It's not how I expected it to go. I felt like when it was in the purple stage, it was like, this makes sense. This is like gonna be the monocolor like white Squigs that I did in like a lot of my 40K stuff with like a little bit more color, and now it's mostly color. I got lost just like playing with these inks and blending contrast paints on top. Here, we'll give them do some close-ups. I think trying to make them feel like poisonous mushrooms was a big point of revelation. I think maybe we went too hard with some of the colors, but I'm kind of happy with it. It's like not a way I would normally paint. Like I feel like I would reach a threshold where I'm just like, that's like enough color. Like let's dial it back, but we didn't do that here. I might in the morning, like depending on how I feel, or whenever I paint this army, like add some more white to them. I might try it on like a couple guys and see how that feels, but I feel like some of them, like this dude, is one way where they could all go, or like the tip of the face is white. Most of the body is still like that blue-green color. Purple underneath, and then like the gradient starts like a little after the face of the green and fades back. His actual like proper face area isn't white, like entirely white. It's like got that pink shade into it, and I think the recesses, like the eyes, having the dark circles around them looks really good. But the top of him is still white up here, which I could solve just by like dry brushing probably. it's the most reasonable thing to do, but I wouldn't be opposed to trying a Xenophill on top too, seeing how that feels. These guys, this bottom guy, I'm super happy with too. I guess, yeah, he sort of follows the same formula. I think these are all gonna look way better too when I paint the goblins on top and all the metal. The goblin cloaks, there's a lot of blue and purple going on, but I think I could add some black to them too, and that would look great. I do like it when night goblins are mostly black cloaked, so I think their cloaks will ultimately probably just get like a couple washes of black, and you'll be able to see like hints of the purple and blue if it's there currently, but it'll be mostly black. Because I think like once the goblins are painted and I see like how all of this looks together in a more completed state, I'll have a better sense for if the squigs need to be made a little bit more white again. These models are just so sick too. If anyone's wondering, these are, I'm pretty sure they're just like ripped from Warhammer Total War. There's a guy who had a large collection of models that all very much look like they're ripped from Total War on a like Cults 3D profile that was taken down, presumably by a cease and desist of some kind, about like 4 months ago. So his files are kind of hard to find now, but I think a lot of people have like re-uploaded them in various places. It's funny, like the models are so different. Like just look at these guys next to each other. But yeah, when they're painted the same color, I feel like they don't really look out of place next to each other. Like they're both still squigs at the end of the day, right? Yeah, again though, given the circumstances of painting a mushroom, starting at, I don't know, like 10 p.m., finishing at 2:30, so like 4.5 hours of work. Yeah, really happy with how these went. Thanks for watching. I don't know if, how often I'll do this. It's kind of an intense experience, but it doesn't feel healthy to make a habit out of. But doing it this one time felt great, and I might do it again in the future. Maybe just privately though. We'll see. I might raffle one of these off. Oh. They're my children. It feels bad to get rid of any of them. But if you like this video and you like watching me do stuff, that feels like a nice way to give back. I'll raffle off a squig. I don't know which one yet, but I'll raffle one off. That feels fair. Probably one of these guys. If you are a $5 Patreon member, it'll be in that tier. So out of the people that are in there, I'll just like give someone a random squig. Or if you prefer, you can have one of the orc models that I'm gonna be making for a video that's not out yet because they're not done. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you had a good Friday. That's a good, I don't want to hear comments about squigs or like, what do you think of paints or whatever. I want to know what you did on Friday. If you feel like leaving a comment, let me know what you did today. How was your night? Was it good? Was it bad? If it's traumatic, if you want to talk about it, you can mention that too. Whatever you feel comfortable with. I think it'd be funny to know what everyone's Fridays were like. We'll be back to our usually scheduled competitive work content after this. I gotta finish, I owe the world those ZBrush models still too. That's also on my plate. So, all right, see you guys. Have a good night.